Hey guys, I'm Gerardo.
I'm Kelly.
And today we're going to be showing you how we build this coffin shelf. We're going to try to go a little bit more in depth than any other videos. We're going to do a little step by step almost. And this is actually made out of cedar fence wood, so you can get this pretty much anywhere. We're going to go over the angles, the cut angles you need to get it at, and how we got the angles, because this is actually just a trapezoid. And we're going to go a little bit over the math that involved that. And yeah, we hope you liked this video and watch it all the way through. And if you could leave us a like, subscribe, hit the bell, turn on notifications, it'll help us out a lot. Thank you. So this first cut is going to be 16 inches long. We're going to cut them at 38 degrees on both sides. After we get that cut, we're going to put it to the side, and we're going to cut 2 more boards at 13 and 7/16 inches long. However, with these boards, one angle is going to be 38 degrees, and the next side is going to be 9.5 degrees. These side pieces are 53 and 3/16 of an inch long, with the top part being angled at 9.5 degrees and the bottom angle being 42.5 degree angles. So you're going to do the same thing as we did on the other ones. You're going to cut the top 9.5 degrees, measure out 53 and 3/16, then cut that angle on the other side at 42.5 degrees. You're going to do 2 cuts like that. You're going to have 2 53 and 3/16 boards, and then we're going to go ahead and move down to the very bottom of the base. The base is going to be 14 inches, and it's going to be cut at a 42.5 degree angles on both sides, just like the top. All right, we should now have the frame, the coffin shelf actually done, and we don't need to worry about cuts right now. What we're gonna do is go ahead and start putting it together. The way I like to put this together is I go from the top and grab the first 3 pieces that we put aside, which is the 16 inch board and the 13 and 7/16 inch boards. There should be 2 of those. You're actually gonna make the shape of the trapezoid right now. Just go ahead and put that shape together and see if it fits. It should fit perfectly. And once it does, what we're going to go ahead and do is get some wood glue. You're going to want to glue the edges of the board, put it together. I would start with just one side first. Just glue one side of the board first. Use a nail gun. The nail gun we're using is the DeWalt 16 gauge finish nailer. These nails are 1.25" angle nails that we are using. You can use straight nails too. What you want to do is you want to be careful whenever you're shooting the nails. Don't go to the side a little bit. You kind of got to go with the angle of the board. You want to go straight in, because if you go a little bit to the side, it's going to actually go out and you're going to have to pull the nail out. So just make sure where you're shooting is going to go between the 2 pieces of wood. And what you're going to go ahead and do is grab your next 13 and 7/16 inch board and put it next to the 16 inch board. Make sure you're using the 38 degree sides though. Don't connect up the 9.5 degrees, otherwise it's going to throw the whole thing off. Make sure it's 38 degrees. It should be that trapezoid shape. You're going to wood glue it again. Shoot some nails in it the same way. One on top, flip it around, do another nail, and then shoot the other 2 in. After you got those nailed together, you should have the 3 boards connected, and you're actually just going to pick that up and put it to the side, get it out the way, and we're going to work on the longer pieces. You're going to want to grab one of your 53 and 3/16 inch boards, and one of your the only 14 inch board, and you're going to wood glue them together, and you're going to make sure they're at the 42.5 degree angle mark. Don't do this one at the 9.5 degree. This is going to be the bottom part of it, so just make sure you're doing it where it's 42.5 cut that you made. Now once you got those 2 nailed together, now you're going to grab your next 53 and 3/16 inch board, and you're going to go ahead and put that together too. And make sure you do the 42.5 degree angles though on the same size. Don't do it at the 9.5 degrees. And you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to wood glue it, nail them in, put it together, and make sure to watch your fingers. Alright, now once you got that done, you should have 2 trapezoid shapes. You should have that one long, big old trapezoid shape, and then you should have the top small trapezoid shape. Now, don't try to wood glue these and put these together yet. You're not going to be able to do it. You're just going to shoot nails to the end. It's going to just not. It's not going to be able to be done. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and make your next cut. This next cut is actually going to be your first shelf. This is the one that we have measured at 22 and a half inches, and are both going to be cut at 9.5 degrees. So you're going to cut both sides at 9.5 degrees and make sure it measures out 22 and a half inches. Another way to get these angles too, or you can actually just put a longer piece of wood on top. So it's measured at 22 and a half is what we want. You can cut a 24-inch board straight, put it on top, line it up with your longer trapezoid. Make sure it's flush on the ends, and you don't want to overhang it. You actually want this to be on the inside and flushed. But to get the angle too, you can also put on top the one that's bigger, and then actually get a pencil, go from the bottom of it, and you can just mark it, go to the other side, mark it, and when you go to your miter saw, you can just get the line and cut it on that line, and that should give you the same angle. Now that we got it cut, what we're going to go ahead and do is grab that 22.5-inch board, and like I said, we're going to put it between the long part of the trapezoid on the top part, not the base, not the small 14-inch board. This is going to be the 22.5-inch side. So what you're going to go ahead and do is wood glue the sides. Grab your nail gun. You can even use clamps if you don't have another person helping you. Just grab a clamp, put it on the ends, squeeze it together, make sure they're flush on the ends, and go ahead and just shoot your nails in. But before you shoot your last nails, you can put the first nail in, make sure it's square. So grab a square, square it up, and once you got that perfect 90, go ahead and finish with the rest of your nails. You should now have the bottom part done. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is do the top part. So you want to go grab those three pieces that you already had together. Go ahead and bring them back now. Now what you're going to want to do is put some wood glue on the edges of both sides. Then I would grab at least 2 clamps, and I would clamp from the top part on the 16-inch one and on the 22.5-inch one. Clamp them together so you got a nice little tight fit, but you don't want it to spread open too far, so also clamp across on that 22.5-inch board. Just make sure you put your clamps a little bit under where you nailed in at, because you are going to be nailing in again, and you want to make sure you can fit that nail gun right there. Now, in order to nail these sides, it's a little bit different. This one's you got to be a little bit more careful about, because you don't want your nails to protrude anymore. You have a better chance of your nails actually going through too far or going on at the wrong angle and actually showing and shooting out, or just not going where you need them to be at. Now, what I did was go almost at the very edge of that 13 and 7/16 inch board. Get there kind of right at the very edge, but not too low. You want to get a little bit of meat still on that board. So you go to the very edge and you actually angle your nail gun where it kind of goes between the 22.5-inch board. You're going to want it to shoot like straight in. Don't get it to shoot too far up, because then it's going to show. Then if you go too far down, it's actually going to stick out. So you kind of just got to get it just perfect. I'm going to try to leave a little picture here, a little video showing kind of the angle I want you to go at. But you just want to be extra careful when shooting these nails. I mean, even if you do have a little mess up, you can always pull them out. It just makes it easier if you get it right the first time. So what you're going to do is just like all the other angles, you're going to go ahead and shoot 4 nails in, and you want to do it 2 on the left side and 2 on the right side. Alright, after you get that done, you should have the entire frame set up and done. You should be able to place it on the ground and look at it. It should look like a coffin. You just don't have the back sides. You have one shelf. But this is the fun part where we start getting real into it. So now what we're going to do is cut your next 3 shelves. We're going to go ahead and make 3 different cuts. All these cuts are going to be cut with 9.5 degree angles on both sides. Your first cut is going to be 20 inches. Your second cut is going to be 17.5 inches. And your last cut is going to be 15 inches. Once you have your shelves cut out, you can go ahead and just put them in the coffin about where they're going to go. And I like to work from the top down. Now what we do is grab our tape measure and put it at the top of the first shelf and measure down 13 inches. You're going to want to measure down 13 inches on the left side and 13 inches down on the right side. And you're going to place your first 20-inch board. Make sure it fits correctly. Grab your square it up. If you have to use clamps to keep it together, you can do that. And you're going to go ahead and wood glue it. Now once you have a wood glue, you put it in and go ahead and nail it up. Nail it both sides. Make sure it's squared up. And you're going to repeat the steps down. Measure down from the second shelf down to the third shelf. Should be about 13 inches. Make sure it fits. If you got to use clamps, go ahead. Glue it up. Make sure it's squared. And nail them in. Alright guys, so the idea was to go ahead and put these boards on top. Have them be straight and go ahead and just nail them to the top. Wood glue it, nail them to the top. However, these boards are never perfect, and as you can see, there's a huge gap in here. A lot of them, some of them are even worse. This gap's going way over here, and we can't really work with that. Best bet to do this is, if you had a table saw, go ahead and cut off an inch or so. Cut off, just get straight. If you had a joiner or a table saw, you can work with that. However, we don't have a table saw right now, and we don't have a joiner. The only thing we do have is a skill saw and a little track. So what we're going to be doing is, this actually measures out 14 inches. So the boards are 5.5 inches. We're going to go ahead and cut off 1/2 inch on each board, and leave 5 inches of one board, 5 inches of the board, and 4 inches straight in the middle. On that side, so you grab a pencil, go from the bottom and mark it. We're gonna go ahead and nail the last part up. You should better. Now the tops don't really matter, and you want it to be straight, but like I said, the wood is the best. You gotta work with what you got. And this is what we got. Alright, what we're going to be doing now is making sure that nails went through. So just going around, look at it. You can run your finger. You should be able to just see it. But it says it don't look too bad. We don't have any nails there. Got some wood glue we got to clean up. So what we're going to be doing now is making a base for the shelf. So what we're going to be doing is a 3-layered stair-step type of base. You don't need a base for this. You can actually just put it against the wall, put some screws in, find the stud, put some screws in, and it'll be all right. But we want this to have a base so you can move it around. So this should measure 6 inches in width and 14 inches in length. So what we're going to do is try to go with 1 inch more on each side and have a 3-inch stick out all the way around by the time we get to the 3rd layer. So what we're going to do is the first cut is going to be 14 plus 2 inches on each side. So we're going to make it 16 inches right now. We're going to do 2 boards at 16 inches. And now that we have them cut at 16 inches, what we're going to do is go ahead and rip them down. Thankfully, I don't have to use a skill saw anymore. We do have a table saw, thanks to Kelly for giving me an early birthday present. All right, doing is setting your rip at 4 inches. Go ahead setting it up. Stick ready. And we're gonna rip it down 4 inches. All right, after you have the first one done, we're gonna go ahead and do the second one too. Now what we're gonna be doing is to go ahead and cut in the second layer. The second layer actually needs to be 18 by 10. So we're gonna cut it 18 inches length, and then we're gonna rip it down to 5 inches. So we'll have 18 by 10 when we put it together. Now that we've got them cut about that 18 inches, we're gonna go ahead and rip them down 5 inches. So for this third layer is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have to get this at 20 by 12. Now these boards are only 5.5 inches. So we're going to have to cut 3 boards 20 inches long and then cut 1 strip 1 inch. 1 inch ripped. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take one of these 20-inch boards and rip it down by 1 inch. So this is a stair-step idea that I was talking about. We're gonna have 1 inch on this side and this side, and then when it's on the base, it should be 1 inch. So what we are gonna do is actually go in, wood glue all these joints right here, put them together, but we're gonna start from the bottom. And after we get one section done, we're gonna wood glue the second one, throw it on top, measure out 1 inch on each side, then we're just gonna shoot some nails through them. Little square. We're gonna make it where it measures out to 1 inch, and we're gonna put it on the bottom. You want to bring your edge piece, the piece about the edge of a table, and put it on. 1 inch here, 1 inch there. Got 1 inch here, and just check. We got 1 inch there. So now. Okay, now what you're gonna do is go around checking imperfections. We had one here, I already pulled it out. And all you're gonna do is flip it over, lay flat. We're gonna use a countersink bit, and we're gonna put 1 screw here, 1 screw here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So after we flipped it over, we do have a gap in it. So we tried fixing it by putting a clamp on top, and when we clamped it on top, it was pulling this up and it was making it wobbly, and you don't want your base to be wobbly, you want it to be flat. So what we decided to do was put a clamp from the bottom, push it in, and then we're gonna grab another clamp, put it on top, and push this in. And that'll get rid of your gap, and it won't be wobbly anymore. All right, now once you make sure it's flat, what you're gonna go ahead and do is go ahead and paint it and wait for it to dry, and then we'll go ahead and screw it into the base. The bottom, the wood glue, the bottom doesn't have any wood glue on it, just in case you do ever want to take it off, put it against a corner, you can just take the screws out. Alright guys, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.
And if you have any questions concerning any kind of cuts or anything, reply in the comment section and we'll try and get back with y'all as soon as we can. And we look forward to seeing y'all in our next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Bye!